and I live here in the Morley School neighborhood of West Hartford. Our neighborhood was chosen to take part in a pilot program to divert food scraps out of the trash and into a plant that creates energy and eventually compost. How cool is that? A lot of neighbors have asked me how I do my food scraps at my home, so I figured I would make a video and let you know how I do it. You can take it or leave it, but hopefully you'll get some good tips for your food scrap collection. Let's go. Before I bring the bin into the household, I just want to check and see that it's nice and clean. I'm a little bit of a clean freak. So I'll take the bin and open it up by lowering the handle. The lid opens up, and today it looks pretty clean. I had pretty dry scraps last week, but if it does have liquid or things like that in it, I just like to take my hose, give it a little squirt through there, clean it out a bit, and then dump it, and then I'll let that air dry for a while before I use it. So this is where it all starts. Right next to my sink, I have what I call my kitchen food scrap caddy. I love this thing. I got it from the town of West Hartford. They had about 100 to give away, and they still have some left. So if you're interested in getting one, contact the email below and see if there's any left. Otherwise, they're available on Amazon. But I really like this design. I can open the lid easily with just one little push, and the lid can open fully, or it can go halfway and stay up, which we'll see later. But basically, all day long, what I'm doing is just putting in food scraps. And it's more than you think. It's more than just cooking. So for example, I had some people over on Friday night, and they brought over a bunch of stuff that I ended up not eating. So guess what? Into the food scraps it goes. The soggy cucumber and the dried out carrots. They brought a lovely wheel of brie, which I'm not going to eat the whole thing, thank you. Also, when I'm cooking eggs, I can just throw the eggshells in there, which is fantastic. Also, things I wouldn't have thought about, which is like crackers, potato chips, snack foods, anything that dries out or you just don't want to eat anymore. The food scrap caddy also takes meat and bones. So you have the choice. You can just put them right there directly or do something else, which we'll talk about later. Do you eat the fortune cookies after the Chinese food? No, I took the fortune out and just put that in there. Also, I've roasted a chicken today and I don't eat the gizzards, so I can put those in there as well. Now, my daughter, she went to Moe's the other day and left this in the refrigerator. It's been in there a few days. So I can just throw all that in there. You want to scrape it out, and then of course the plastic does not go in the food scraps. If it's not edible, which it is not, you cannot put it in the food scraps. So please, clean it as best you can, and then go ahead and recycle these if they're recyclable, or put them in the trash if they're not. Another thing I put a lot of in here is coffee filters, because we drink a lot of coffee around here. And the nice thing is I just take it and put it on in there. A nice side benefit of so many coffee filters is our bin actually smells good. It smells like coffee all the time. You can also put in tea bags, are fine, as long as they don't have staples. So they just want you to tear off the staples before you put that in. Another question that I get a lot is about garbage disposals. I have a great garbage disposal, which I used to use a lot. And since I've been doing the food scraps program, I have not been using it as much. I definitely put everything in the food scraps that used to go in the disposal. And I didn't know about the benefits of this. I was talking to somebody at the MDC, and they said the less food we have going down the drain, the less money we have to spend on treating that water with nitrogen for the nitrogen. So if you can do it, put it in the food scraps rather than the garbage disposal. And guess what? My sink smells a lot cleaner since I've been doing this program. Another thing I love about this caddy is that it will open up halfway when I'm busy in the kitchen doing a lot of different things. That way it's easily accessible. So when I'm chopping up the vegetables, and obviously I'm gonna make food scraps of things that I'm not gonna eat, right? Like the tops of the pepper, or the end of the lettuce. Just a reminder when you are doing this that you shouldn't put any plastic or anything in there. Again, only things that are food. It's interesting, I just pitted some Kalamata olives and I can put the pit in there as well. So avocado seeds, any kind of seeds or pits can go in there. And a reminder that a lot of fruits and vegetables come with these stickers. They would like for you to remove those stickers. And I just put them with my collection over there. And then when I'm finished cooking, and I'm not going to be using it, I remember to close it and close it with a click. This seals it so no flies will be getting in there and bothering us. I have noticed there are fruit flies around. It is the season, so I thought I would show you my little fruit fly trap, which is basically a plastic apple that I put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there, and it will attract the fruit flies. They come in through these little holes in the top, but they can't come out. So I empty that a couple times a week, and I do notice there are a couple of flies in there. So that'll keep your bin fly free. But we eventually have to empty this. So let me show you what I do a couple times a week when I need to empty this. When we go to empty this, I just want to give you one more word on keeping things fresh. Some people swear that a little bit of baking soda will keep this not smelling. We definitely don't want it to be smelly. So remember earlier I had talked about my daughter's leftovers. They'd been in the refrigerator a while, so they definitely are starting to smell. And I don't feel that great about having that on my kitchen counter. So let me show you what I'm gonna do with meats or extra smelly fish or things that I don't wanna have hanging about. Okay, now we want to put our food scraps into the town issued bin. Everybody got a green bin like this, and everybody got a roll of plastic bags. I just simply line the bin with the plastic bag, nice and neat. And as I get my caddy full, I just come down to the basement where I have it stored, and I dump my caddy. Another nice thing about this caddy is that it's got grooves on the inside, so that most of the food just slides out, which is great. Earlier, I had talked about yucky food like, you know, the gizzards and my daughter's leftovers that I really didn't want next to my sink. So I would just come down to the basement and just directly put them in there. That would go for the chicken carcass that I'm going to have later after I boil the bones. So I'll just bring that and put that in there directly. Very important, I'm not going to leave this open, okay? So the nice thing about these bins is that the lid closes and it will close and lock if I simply put the handle in an upright position. You'll see where it will catch and it will actually lock the lid, and that means the lid can't be opened. Can't be opened by squirrels, probably not even a raccoon. So if you have it in your garage, make sure that you lock it. I lock it when it's down here in the basement because the flies can't get in that way. So yeah, I kept mine in my garage, and then as the weather got warmer, I had the great idea of keeping it down here in the basement where it's a little bit cooler. And then when I went on vacation last week, I didn't like the idea of this sitting here for 2 weeks, even in my basement. So I came up with an even better plan that I'm using to this day. So let me show you. So my secret weapon is my freezer that I have down here in the basement. I went on vacation and I put the food scraps in the freezer, and then I thought I can just keep them there all the time. So I actually have the bag here, and I dump things directly into this bag. And when it's collection day, the morning of, not the night before. I put the frozen food all in there, and I tie up the bag. You don't have to, but I like to tie up the bag. And then I put it out on the curb. But first, I lock it. This is really important because we don't want any animals getting into these bins. So make sure you place the bin out the morning of collection, not the night before, and that you have the handle up and that the lid is locked. Trash day is finally here. So I have already put my barrel out, but I'm gonna put my last orange bag into the trash this morning. And I have brought my bin out in the morning, not the night before. I've made sure that the bin has the lid closed and the handle is up and the bin is locked so that no critters can get in there. Hope you've enjoyed watching this video and to see how I do things. Everybody's got their own system, so why don't you share with us how you do things? You can contact at the information we'll post here below. And also you can go to reducethetrashct.com. Click on the West Hartford link, and hopefully you've got even more information and all your questions can be answered there. Thanks for watching.